Grandma family? It's your man Grandma J coming at y'all with this video. Yo, what's going on, Grandma family? It's your man Grandma J here coming at y'all with this video. Long time no see. I know. I did promise y'all that I was gonna make at least two videos a week, but I want to say that video I made for the beginning of the year, right after that, I was like, you know what? I'm not just gonna waste my time and post anything because it's a waste of my time to just post anything. It's a waste of y'all time. I just don't want to be putting out anything just because. So I like to try to have a little bit of substance to my videos, at least something that y'all could take away from it before I upload it. But yeah, today is February 17th, 2020. Today was my last day of home time, but because today is a holiday, they pushed our PTA to tomorrow, so we won't be getting up out of here until tomorrow. It was pretty cool, pretty nice, different scenery outside of Philly, so that was pretty dope. But I know y'all want to know about what's going on trucking wise. I stayed out. I've been out 7 weeks. I haven't seen home since December. 1 week was orientation and then 6 weeks of running. Colorado terminal definitely puts the Piston terminal to shame. I think it's pretty crazy how your experience with one single company can be different depending on who your dispatcher is, where you're dispatched out of, the different people you communicate with. It's just crazy how much of a different experience you can have. So keep that in mind when y'all apply to these companies, that you know your experience could be better or worse than the next person, just be based off of the different people that y'all communicate with. So y'all know, but previously me and Eli, when we teamed, we were dispatched out of the PA terminal, Piston PA. When we teamed, both times we did not get coast to coast runs how often we should have. We got a lot of solo runs. We weren't getting many miles. And for those that don't know, which is pretty much common sense, when you team, you want to always keep the truck rolling. Like when you team, the more miles you do, the better the bonus. So 2,500 miles is pretty average. 2,500, 3,000 miles is what you'll get as a solo driver. So as a team, you shouldn't be getting 1,500, 1,800, whatever. So those was the kind of miles we was getting when we was dispatched out of the PA terminal. They didn't really run us well. My dispatcher out of that terminal was cool. He was cool as hell and everything. He was very understanding and all that. But teaming from out of that terminal was terrible. We just didn't really make any money. Now we are dispatched out of Colorado, and they have been running us pretty nice. Like, they're running us to where we're getting miles, but not to where it feel like you're not getting no sleep. So I get my sleep and I get my miles at the same time. We've been getting a lot of coast to coast runs back to back to back to back. And if it's not a coast to coast run, it's usually like something like 800 or 900 miles that has to be due like the next day or something like that. So if it's not a coast to coast run, we're still getting a nice little decent run. It'd be pretty cool if we could get like 900 miles a day, but that's not what's happening. That's not how the lows run, but they've been running us pretty well. And if any of y'all are interested in becoming a team with this company and you want to know the numbers, I could explain to y'all how I figured out the numbers. And if anybody has any discrepancies, feel free to correct me below or whatever. But for the team pay scale, when I looked at our checks, I saw that we were splitting 46 cents per mile for all miles. So if we do 3,000 miles, we get paid 46 cents per mile split. So that's 23 cents per mile. So for all miles, or 23 cents per mile. And we get 5 cents per mile per diem, which is non-taxable. So the 5 cents is non-taxable. It shows up in a different section of your pay stub. It shows up as a travel allowance, and it's non-taxable. And for any miles between 3K and 4K, which is 1,000 miles, you get paid 0.125 cent bonus. And any miles from 4K on up, you get paid 0.15 cent per mile bonus. So damn, I don't even have a calculator. Sorry about that, y'all. So I had to get myself together, get my numbers together, because I don't want to make this video super duper long. But okay, you can either do 46 cents per mile times all miles and divide it by 2, or you could just make it easy and do 0.23 cent per mile times all miles. Either way, you're gonna come out with the same number, but I'm gonna just make it simple. So if we did 3,000 miles flat, let's say we had a short week for some reason, we did 3,000 miles flat. You do 3,000 miles times 0.23 cent per mile, and that'll give you $690 gross. Plus your travel allowance, which I said before is non-taxable and it's 5 cents per mile. So you do 5 cents per mile times 3,000 miles, that give you $150. That is non-tax. So you get $690 gross plus $150 non-tax, and then here at Prime, we get paid fuel bonuses, we get paid detention, layover, breakdown, all of the different pay booster incentives that you get at different companies. Not all companies, but a lot of different companies, and Prime is a big one that pays a large bulk of those except for weather pay. So this is just like a basic number that you could kind of, okay, if I get this many miles, I could probably make this amount of money. But that's not including your fuel bonus, and it's pretty hard to calculate your fuel bonus because your fuel bonus depends on your MPGs for that week. The higher your MPGs, the higher your fuel bonus. Sometimes detention pay comes out the same week, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get detention pay from a load you delivered 8 weeks ago. So this is just like a base pay to give you an idea of what you can make. So now if we were to do 4K miles, you would do 4,000 times 0.23, you get $920 gross plus your travel allowance. So 4,000 miles times 0.05, you get $200. That's non-taxable. And then because we only did between 3K and 4K, which is 1,000, we get a bonus of 0.125. So 0.125 times 1K, it'll give you $125 gross. So you do 920 gross plus the 125 gross, and then you have the $200 travel allowance. And then lastly, if you do 5,000 miles, so now you're getting 2 sets of bonuses in one because you did above 3K and you did above 4K. So you do 5,000 miles times 0.23, that gives you $1,150 plus your travel allowance, 5,000 miles times 5 cents per mile, and that gives you $250 plus 1,000 miles, which is the 3K to the 4K, times 0.125, that gives you the flat 125 gross. And then you do 1,000 because you did only 1,000 above 5K. 1,000 above 4K, you do 1,000 times 0.15, that gives you $150. So if you was to do 6K miles, you would just do the same thing, but instead of doing 1,000 times 0.15 cent per mile, you do 2,000 times 0.15 cent per mile. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. It's annoying a little bit because it took me a little minute to calculate it, but it bothered me a bit to not know how to calculate our checks. But I kind of figured it out. I wish I knew the little ranges with the fuel bonuses, but I'm not going to be that tedious. I just needed to know the basic way that our checks is calculated. So if you are interested in becoming a team, those are the numbers. I've been enjoying teaming so far. It's pretty cool. Still brushing up on my back end. We haven't ran into too much crazy weather. We did run into crazy weather, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. We had to shut down on I-80, twice because of Wyoming, but it wasn't too bad. Also, our truck did gel over because Eli forgot to put anti-gel in the tanks, and the day that I was running, we were running through Wyoming, and the wind was blowing kind of crazy, so I was going to shut down and then do an 8-2 and then try it again in the morning time because it was nighttime when I was driving and the wind was blowing super crazy. We only had 26,000 pounds. So I thought I was going to do an 8-2 and wake up, but when I woke up after my 8-2, I went to crank the truck on and it wouldn't even run more than like 10 seconds. So we contacted Road Assist. Road Assist came up here. Sent the TA up here. Had the guy do what he did with the diesel 911 or whatever. He forgot to prime the system, so he thought our fuel pump went out and they had to tow our truck. So they ended up towing us backwards 40 miles, and then they fixed the truck and realized that their technician forgot to prime the system or whatever. So I wonder whether Prime got any money back for that. But at the same time, our APU had went out, so it was pretty cold on the truck. It was about, I want to say 14, 13 degrees on the truck just because our APU had went out. So Prime reimbursed Eli for paying for the hotel that we stayed in. So that was all that we went through. Besides that, everything has been pretty cool, pretty smooth selling. They got us home on time, and they've been running us. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to comment below. Follow me on Instagram at _GrandmaJ_. If you don't want to ask me below, feel free to hit me up in my DM. My DM is always open. As always, come Grandma certified by hitting the bell. Join the Grandma family by subscribing. Went from wishing and wanting to go and making it happen. Was sick of saying the shit. I wasn't making it happen. I used to be the quiet when they told me open up more. Probably not stepping too right. I cannot.